Game stores. Everyone loves them, but everyone kind of hates them now. Well, I mean, I get a lot of games at various game stores, and I kind of wanted to really talk about my experiences with them and really just kind of talk about some issues that they all have. From broken games to fake games, there's quite a few to really cover. Obviously, these are listed in no particular order, but 10 experiences that I've had when it comes to game stores. Now, obviously, not all of this is crapping on GameStop, although kind of a lot of this is issues I do have with GameStop. So, at number 10, we of course have low trade-ins. You don't want a game anymore. You know, it could be like any game. It could be a copy of Skyrim that you hated. I don't know why you would hate Skyrim, because Skyrim's like the best game ever, but you might want to trade it in. Or you might want to trade in a copy of Starfield, because it's not Skyrim. I was not meant to make another Skyrim joke. Starfield's just like right after my Skyrim copy. Or let's say you want to trade in your copy of Sword Art Online Alicization. Well, you might just do that. You might go to your local GameStop and they might tell you that you're gonna get like $2 for it. Actually, that reminds me about what the Skyrim trade-in value actually might be. So of course, obviously, yeah, you might trade in one of your games, and they might really lowball you on a price that you think that you might have gone for it. It even sucks more when it also sucks more when it's for cash only. Yeah, trade-in values are just wonderful. Like, oh my god, this game's like $15 and it's like selling for $50. Yeah, so that's the low trade value for games. So it kinda sucks. And that's not all. Other games might only give you like a few cents for them, even if you got them at launch. Yeah, this is an issue when it comes to this is an issue when it comes to GameStop and quite a few other stores too. And honestly, the best chances that anyone could suggest is to sell them on eBay or Facebook. You'll get a better value for them, and they'll actually be going to a nice home for people who actually give a shit about them, instead of rotting on a shelf until they decide to throw them out because they want to stock more plushes or scalp Pokemon cards this time. At number 9, we of course have poor stock. This is quite an issue for a multitude of reasons. Now, obviously, game stores kind of do depend on used games quite a bit. Not GameStop anymore, they just kind of depend on Pokemon cards. It's sad to see how far they've fallen, but of course, let's say, okay, a good game store. Good game stores kind of focus on having games. Now, sometimes the stock is really just low that day, which is already unfortunate, but sometimes that's it. No matter how many times you go in there. Now, I've gone to quite a few different game stores, and usually I can find one or two games that I do want. There's been times that I haven't, though. There's one GameStop, like a town over, I went there once. Literally, the game section is dead. Like, it's straight up dead. I mean, there's a few games there that I've seen that, hey, this does seem pretty cool, I would love to pick this up, but I feel like if I got the game there, the GameStop's just gonna cease to exist because I took out the only interesting game. Meanwhile, other game stores have like 10 different games that you can find and take home that day. Yeah, there's this one game store I go to, level 7 games, it's wonderful. Like, absolutely wonderful. They actually have games there. And the games are actually really good. Unlike Game Force, which kind of is meh. Every time I've gone there, something's been broken. So it really depends on the game store that you're visiting. Some game stores have some really good stock, others have poor stock. I mean, I've found some really interesting games throughout my time going to GameStop, but as of recently, it's kind of gone down, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. I found some cool stuff this year, but I think a lot of the best stuff I found was stuff I found last year and the year before. And it doesn't help that other factors also influence the stock too. And of course, at number 8, we of course have Never Complete in Box, and of course codes. This is kind of a twofer, so it's kind of a top 11 things that are wrong with gaming for some reason. Now, obviously, when I mean complete in box, I mean it's complete in box. For example, okay, this was a terrible example. My copy of Yokai Watch doesn't. I don't know what it's supposed to come with, but it has the instruction manual, and obviously it comes with the game. But I guess I'll talk about my copy of Skyrim again for some reason. A complete in-box copy of Skyrim, depending on the console, comes with the game, the DLC, well, the DLC disc if it's the Legend Edition, the map, and of course a few other pieces of paper that tell you how to play the game and how to install the DLC. That's complete in box. Now, obviously, not everyone does care about complete in box. Sometimes just having the game is just enough. I mean, my copy of the Crysis Remastered Trilogy is just the disc and the case. I'm not complaining about that. No, I only cry in terror at night because I don't have a complete in-box game. But of course, jokes aside, yeah, not every game will be complete in-box, which is kind of unfortunate. Now, sure, there's times that I do get lucky and get a complete in-box game, but there's times that just doesn't happen. For example, my copy of Call of Duty Roads to Victory comes with the game and a manual and complete in box. I do not have to worry about the case being I don't have to worry about the case being different. Like my copy of Fallout 4 that does not have the original Xbox case. And I treat it like it's the hated stepchild. But of course then there's other games that might not have that might not be complete in box. For example, my copy of LEGO Star Wars 2, the original trilogy, is not complete in box, which kinda sucks. Like, actually, it generally actually really sucks, and I'm kinda sad about that. And of course, as I am noting out to my Chinatown Wars copy, it is actually complete in box, and I actually kind of like how it is. That's actually really cool. I just noticed how interesting the map is. So, funny joke. Yeah, that'll keep the audience. Okay, so jokes aside, okay, things I honestly do not remember. But yeah, so jokes aside, yeah, sometimes a game might not be complete in box, and it kind of sucks, and I kind of hate that. Now, this can be an issue with quite a few games. Now, if you do want a complete in box game, like, your best bet is to probably look on eBay, maybe Amazon. I've always gotten my games complete in box on Amazon, but I've also have gotten quite a few games complete in box on eBay. Usually, they'll tell you about if the game is complete in box, if they're cool. Maybe not. Sometimes people are douchebags on eBay. Had to take a refreshment break. Make sure that you are staying hydrated during this summer or winter. it's winter in some places. But of course, then there's complete in box. Damn it, I meant codes in the box, where sometimes it's not the game. Sometimes it's code in the box. Yeah, that's kind of like games like Skyrim, Resident Evil Origins Collection on Switch, Life is Strange on the Switch, well, the Arcadia Bay Collection, the Resident Evil Revelations Collection, Fallout on the Switch, and probably a lot more other games on the Switch. And it's not just the Switch. Sometimes it's codes for stuff like on PlayStation or Xbox. It might not always be a full game, it might just be DLC. Sometimes it's a full game. Usually this is packaged within a game. It also sucks when the game just flat out expires. Well, the code expires. So that means that download for God of War that you really wanted for Ghosts of Sparta and Chains of Olympus, well, you can go fuck yourself. Wait, I can? Aww. At number 7, we of course have Retro. I was doing quotation marks. Now, Retro is basically anything that is not PlayStation 4. Or to Sony, it's not anything that's a PlayStation 5. To Xbox, it's basically anything that isn't an Xbox Series. And to Nintendo, it's basically anything that is not a Switch 2. Until you make a fan-made mod or fan-made game, then suddenly they care. So, retro games are in some game stores. You'll find some game stores that do have retro games. Other times, again, they get treated like this hated stepchild. They just get banished out of existence. Now, of course, obviously, some stores kind of have really crap retro games. And that honestly kind of sucks. Now, my GameStop was one of those retro GameStop. And the retro selection, yeah, it's mostly Xbox 360 and PS3. Yeah, there's some Xbox 360 stuff, there's some PS2 stuff. Surprisingly, there's some Vita stuff and PSP stuff. Yeah, there's like a lot of Nintendo stuff, which actually, the retro stuff for Nintendo is actually good until you really get to the GameCube. Then it just kind of falters off. So it's basically stuff from like the last 20 years, not stuff from like the last 4 years. Of course, I mean, I don't know anyone who's gonna sell old NES games or SNES games to GameStop because, well, you just get like $5 in a hand job. That actually probably might get this video demonetized. That slipped out. That's my bad. Yeah. Wow. Moving on. Yeah, so of course, retro games are either good, and you'll find stores that sell them, but other stores, they might just sell Xbox stuff. And it might jack up the prices, because fuck you, that's why. A copy of an Xbox 360 game can fit in the Switch dock. Well, the Switch 2 dock. I just realized that. I don't know if it's like the Switch 1 dock too. Yeah, kinda. This is interesting news to learn, by the way. This will be on the test. And of course, next up, we of course have Too Far. The hell does this mean? Well, what I mean by that is that some game stores are just simply too far to navigate. Yeah. I mean, where I live, it kind of is a bit of a pain in the ass to get to some of these places. Some of them take at least 30 minutes to travel to. Others take about an hour to travel to. Others are in a city that I usually never go to. Because I heard that I'm kind of nervous around other people sometimes. So traveling to game stores can take quite a while. And, well, sometimes your options are very limited, if you even have any. Some people really only have to go online just to, just to get games. Like, there's been plenty of times I've had to order games through eBay or Amazon because they simply did not have what I was looking for. Which is very unfortunate, but tis just something that happens. Now, obviously this was kind of one of the shorter ones on the video, but it's still a bit of a prominent issue I've noticed. I never had this issue as much compared to other people, but I do know some people that have had this issue, and well, it kind of sucks to have that issue. I do feel bad for them. And at number 5, we of course have no cases. Now, honestly, I probably could have stretched this video out in like 2 parts and get like more views, but I decided I wanted to do it in like 1 part. Yeah, so of course, no cases. What does that mean? Well, it's pretty obvious. That means they don't have a case for something. This straight up sucks so much ass, in my opinion. I've had this happen numerous times. Like, 2 of my PlayStation games are like that. Outer Worlds and Days Gone. Now, sure, some games, okay, you can actually get a really good replacement case. Like, I did this for Battlefield 5. I eventually found a case. I swapped it out, and I sold them back the game. Other times, well, you can just kind of go fuck yourself. That's kind of what you can do, hun. Which is really flattering, and it really hurts my feelings. Yeah, so I've had this happen with quite a few games. This mostly has happened with my DS collection. Games like Chinatown Wars, Final Fantasy Explorers, Project Diva, it was like the 3DS one. Resident Evil DS, and I think, oh yeah, and SpongeBob, Super Sponge and Revenge of Flying Dutchman, and of course Final Fantasy IV. And there's a few Xbox games that are like that too. There's, like, I think there's like a few PS games that are like that too. And it sucks. It generally really does suck. Now, there's some game collections that just do not have that issue. Like, I think everything in my PS5 collection generally does not have that issue. Most of the stuff in my Switch collection does not have that issue. I think it's only like 1 game. Which kind of pisses me off because Switch games are fucking expensive. Thanks, GameStop. Then, of course, there is, I think my my Series X and Xbox One collection, no issues. And the ones that this does affect are my PS2 collection, my DS collection, my PS4 collection, my PS3 collection I think has 1 game without a case. Yes, it actually does. And of course my Switch collection. And it kind of sucks because replacing these cases is generally going to be a nightmare. Kinda. I mean, it's gonna suck if the game's more rare. Like, with Final Fantasy Explorers, yeah, this could be a bit more of a hassle because it's like, well, yeah, you're just gonna have to find a new case. Or just rebuy the game again, which kinda sucks. And some of these games are still up in price. Like, Days Gone is a $30 game, and $30 is not, it doesn't come by easily. So it is kind of annoying when games do not have cases. In fact, these are games that I simply avoid. And it sucks because I found a copy of Yakuza 1, of Yakuza Kiwami 1 once, and it had no case. I didn't get it because it's like, I just don't want it. It's taking my collection. I eventually found a steelbook though, so I'm happy about that. But it kind of sucked for a bit. Then of course, at number 4, we of course have high prices. Yeah, this is an issue. Pokemon games should not be $90 fucking dollars. Yeah, a lot of Pokemon games are expensive now. Like, I'll actually look up GameStop's website, and I do promise that I will try to actually rip apart other game companies in this video. It's just GameStop's just so easy to make fun of. But yeah, Soul Silver's $100. Now this is like the same price I paid for at Game Force, which is still horrifying. This game's like rated E. And what sucks is like you get $40 for trading value. You get $26 in cash. That's stupid. And the thing is that like you don't always get the case. Yeah, you don't always get the case with these. And for fuck's sake, Pill's $70. That was like $65. But Black is $94. I remember this game was like $88. And it's just so stupid that they do this. And it affects their games too, because Blue Reflection is now $40. And it's honestly it really just sucks that GameStop charges way too much for selling these games. I actually might read negative GameStop reviews sometime. Yeah, but that's not all. Plenty of other games are also expensive too, and it's not just GameStop. At level 7 games, they're selling a copy of one of the Mana games. I think it was like one of the old ass Mana games. It was on SNES. $250. Yeah, you heard that right. It's $250 for one game, and that is just shocking. I cannot imagine paying $250 for one game. Yeah, it's complete in box, but this game's on the Switch too, and it's on PlayStation. They remastered these games and put them on modern consoles. So anyone paying like that much for that game is just absolutely bonkers. I find it funny that I've already sworn and have made a lewd comment, and I'm just saying bonkers now. And obviously, it's not just with games. Controllers also high in price too. Memory cards, like honestly, anything with gaming generally just kind of sucks to collect nowadays. And at number 3, we of course have broken games. This has happened multiple times, not just from GameStop, but Level 7 Games and Game Force. Notable games include Far Cry 3 on the Xbox 360. The game would not work. My Xbox would not read it, despite my Xbox works extremely fine, and it just pissed me off. A copy of Black Ops 3 would not work on PlayStation 4. A copy of Modern Warfare would not work on the Xbox One. I've had games like GTA 5 not work on a PS4 and the Xbox 360. I've had a copy of Call of Duty 2 not work on the Xbox 360. I've had a copy of God, what else? I've had a copy of Dragon Age Origins not work on Xbox. I've had a copy of Super Mario Bros. U not work on a Wii U. I've had a copy of Diamond not properly load on a DS. I've had Far Cry New Dawn not work on a 360. I've had Assassin's Creed Origins not work on a... My bad, that was the Xbox One with Far Cry New Dawn. I've had a copy of Assassin's Creed Origins not work on a Xbox One. I'm trying to remember what else. I've had... Okay, not broken games, but I've had broken controllers before too. I've had a 360 controller not work. I've had an Xbox One controller not work. My mom has had a Switch controller not work. and I could have sworn there were other games that generally did not work, but I know, moving to Game Force, I've had a copy of Super Mario Bros. 3 not work, I've had a link cable not work, I've had a Game Boy Advance that would not read a link cable, I had 2 Game Boy Advances with very bad battery life, I've had a pirated copy of Vice City, thanks Game Force, really happy with that one. I've had a broken PS2 controller, and I've had a broken copy of Gears of War Judgment from Level 7 Games. Yeah, it actually really sucks getting stuck with the broken game. And I've had this happen too, and it sucks because they never throw out these games. I noticed because I've seen GameStop have the same game that I just returned for not working still on the shelf. The management for this company just fucking sucks, honestly. And I generally feel like I have Stockholm Syndrome since I even still have gone there. It's embarrassing. Next up is, of course, the staff. This isn't too bad, but I've met some staff that just kind of sucks, to be honest. You know, they really just don't seem like they want to work there. So let's just make everyone else's day fucking miserable then. Yay! That's how capitalism works. But of course, yeah, I've ran into some people that generally were not too friendly. And I get having a bad day, but if every time I run into you, you're just kind of in a crappy mood, it just makes me not want to really talk to you. And it kind of sucks because, hey, I like being talkative. I like talking to people. I like making new friends. Of course, the management at my GameStop also kind of sucks too. They fired all the cool people, and all the cool people left. So it generally feels like watching a brutal car accident. And of course, at number 1, which is probably not the worst issue when it comes to games, but it's still kind of an issue, fake games. Yeah, this sucks so much. Now, I'm including fake and third-party games. This is an issue, because, well, I was at GameStop earlier today, which, yeah, again, Stockholm Syndrome. A guy is buying a Switch controller. They wanted to sell him a third-party controller, and it's like, I was like 5 seconds away from telling the dude, don't buy the third-party controller, they are complete shit. Just go for an OEM controller. And honestly, fuck Nintendo's controllers, to be honest, they kind of suck. But, yeah, I've seen GameStop sell third-party controllers. I never seen a Reddit post from someone. I actually want to find it real quick so I can credit them. But there was a Reddit post from someone, and they were actually talking about how GameStop was selling a fake copy of Pokemon Soul Silver, and I actually want to find it real quick because it was a really interesting post. And yeah, I frequent the GameStop subreddit, and I like it. I like seeing people hate on GameStop. I'm actually having trouble finding it. Okay, but just look up, well, actually I could just look that up on Google. But of course, there was a Reddit post about GameStop selling a fake copy of Soul Silver. Yep, I found it. Oh shit, this was from like 11 years ago. Okay, well, there's like another GameStop post of them selling a fake copy of Soul Silver, which is like, oh my god, why? But yeah, I kind of believe in the person from Reddit, because like I've seen fake games at GameStop before. I've also seen these at Game Force. Level 7 Games doesn't seem to have this issue. I've never seen any fake games there yet. But Game Force, this was a serious issue with, and I wound up getting a fake copy of Vice City, and I could not even play because the game would keep loading after a certain time. I've also seen fake copies of the Gen 3 games, which this is a super huge issue with the Gen 3 games, because they're so easily faked. And so you want to be careful with them. And it kind of sucks. I've also have gotten my mom, she got a fake controller from GameStop once. There was also the fake controller that guy was trying to sell earlier. And this doesn't seem to be too much of an issue, but it's become an issue enough to where I genuinely feel like I should mention it, because it is kind of it's a bit scummy for them to be selling fake stuff. Especially since if they're selling like a fake controller, what's stopping them from selling fake Pokemon cards? And I think that could probably be an issue too. Because of just how easily faked Pokemon cards can be. Now, of course, obviously, these were my top 10 Game Store issues. Obviously, I don't know if I'm going to do a part 2, but I feel like I might just make a GameStop video about how much I hate the company. And of course, this was a fun video to make. So if you've been here until the end, thank you all for watching. I hope you have a nice day, and I will of course see you all next time. Peace out.